Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Age of the Planet, Building an Alchemy Civilization from Scratch. Chapter 21. Nicholas LeMay opened his eyes. Find yourself lying on the table. What's the matter? Was it just a dream? He glanced at the book he was transcribing. This is the Qiulu, written by the master alchemist. It contains 13 alchemical truths. It is a popular book. He looked at the page. The truth is not false, never lie, it must bring truth. The lower is as the upper, and the upper is as the lower, thus fulfill the miracle of the one. All things are originally the one, created from the one through differentiation. The sun is the father, the moon is the mother, born from the wind, and nourished by the earth. The source of all perfection in the world is here, and its power is most complete on earth. The text is normal, and those oracles did not appear. Did you have a dream? Suddenly, he felt something hard in his arms and took it out to take a look. What is this crimson stone? Sage's stone. He was immediately excited. Reminds me of a conversation with my ancestors. This magical thing is the source of perfection. No, control your emotions. He quickly took several deep breaths. Next, he opened the alchemy furnace. It turns out that the stone of the sage can turn stone into gold, then let me see it. He put the stone in the stove and burned it. Seeing this, Shujie hurriedly exchanged the stones inside for gold. As a planet master, this trivial thing can still be done. After an hour, Nicolas LeMay was excited and opened the alchemy furnace. The golden gold appeared in front of him. Really gold? Yes, yes, yes. He was so excited that he accidentally spoke his native language. He quickly closed his mouth. As a Western tribe, if someone heard him speak in his native language, he would be whipped. Ancestor, thank you for your gift. I will make good use of the sage's stone and do more good deeds. Nicolas LeMay knelt on the ground and said with his hands clasped together. Shujie nodded in relief. He also doesn't want to help others do bad things. Nicolas LeMay left the Alchemy Guild and began to travel around the world. He made a lot of gold with the sage's stone, and used this gold to help the poor and donate to build hospitals and churches. In addition, he also used gold to set up the Double Snake Guild. This guild is different from other alchemy guilds in that they specialize in hex gems. The world was puzzled. Nowadays, studying alchemy and pursuing immortality is the kingly way, but why did the Twin Snake Guild go the opposite way and specialize in hex gems? One afternoon, Nicolas LeMay, who was annoyed by the question, revealed a big secret, that is, the alchemy of immortality, which he has already mastered. One stone stirred up 1,000 waves, and this incident immediately caused huge repercussions in the society. It is said that Nicolas LeMay has mastered the alchemy of immortality. Is this real? It's true, I heard it with my own ears. Although Nicolas LeMay is not shallow in alchemy, it is impossible to live forever. He has a red stone. This stone is the key. It can not only turn a stone into gold, but also live forever. Shujie smiled. The secret of the sage's stone can hardly be hidden. Perhaps the reason why the system picked this person was not only because of his alchemy talent, but also because he had a big mouth. Shin frowned. Sage's stone. He looked at Warby the goblin tinkerer next to him. Do you think there is such a stone? Warbig said with a smile. You are our king, do you know if you have one? If you grab it and ask, don't you know? Right, Shin said lightly. Bring that person to the palace. The news soon spread to the Double Snake Guild. Nicolas LeMay began to tremble. Although he is now rich enough to rival the country, but the other party is the emperor, it is easy to want his own life. He tried to calm himself down. For so long, he had already done enough research. The key to the immortality of the sage's stone may be to send people to another dimension. That is the space of God. Only by entering the world of God can man live forever. This is the secret of eternal life. He brought the sage's stone and came to the high platform. Put it in a square metal box. He wants to use the power of thunder and lightning to activate the sage's stone, achieve ascension, and go to the world of gods. He endorses a truth. The only true knowledge can be obtained only by analyzing all things by means of the smelting of fire. Dang dang. The footsteps of the soldiers appeared under the high platform. Nicolas LeMay began to pray. God, make me an ascended. Shujie saw it. Understand that now is the time to act. Record, you consume 2,000 points to form a hurricane. Record, you consume 2,000 points to form lightning. Record, you consume 5,000 points to form holy light. The vision of heaven and earth suddenly appeared. Lightning strikes the metal box. The strong wind blew Nicholas Lemay up. The holy light appeared on him. The eyes of the whole city are looking at the sky. Miracle. This is a miracle. The holy light is getting brighter. The stabbed man can't open his eyes. Suddenly, the holy light dissipated. Nikolai Lemay and the sage's stone disappeared at the same time. Shin sat blankly on the ground. It turns out that the sage's stone is real. Have you been deceived by your ancestors? The story of Nicholas Lemay's ascension spread slowly. The concept of the philosopher's stone is known for the first time. Adventurers began to frantically search for this stone. And alchemists began to unremittingly pursue this substance. Alchemy began to slowly lose its former prestige. Because they know that medicine pills can't make people live forever, only the stone of the sage can do it. They started researching hex gemstones. The Two Serpents Guild of Nicholas Lemay has been working on this stone. This made them think that this gem may be related to the sage's stone. But they didn't succeed. Hex stones are extremely unstable in energy. They have no way to convert it into stable energy. Shu Jie looked at all this and was a little relieved. Civilization is finally on the right track. However, the research progress of hex gemstones has been very slow. The correct way to open this gemstone is to suspend it in a liquid metal alloy and connect it with an electric current so that it will burst out with unprecedented energy. Without power, it is difficult to unravel the mysteries of the hex gem. Perhaps, someone needs to be a pioneer. At this moment, Shu Jie felt the call. It is Shin, who is carrying out a large-scale sacrifice. Ever since he had seen the sage's stone and knew immortality, he has been calling on his ancestors. A gust of breeze came. Shin was stunned. There is an ancestor's breath in this wind. Ancestor, why did you lie to me? The method of immortality clearly exists. Birth, old age, sickness and death, the laws of heaven and earth can also be broken. Shin roared. If he believed in immortality, then he would grab the sage's stone as soon as possible. Nor will the man from the western tribe be the first descendant. Cheat. People will grow old, get sick and die. What if they're not people? Your thinking limits yourself, and you cannot understand the truth. Look at the text formed by the leaves. Shin was stunned. As a human being, I am asking questions about immortality. Then what is obtained is naturally a reply as a human carrier. It turned out that he was really wrong. The ancestors are above. I have worked hard day and night, and dare not slack at all. In order to better make the Qing dynasty prosperous, please give me the stone of the sage. He knelt on the ground and began to pray for the philosopher's stone. Standing in the air, Shu Jie shook his head when he saw him. Even an emperor like Shin would inevitably go astray and pursue immortality. Life and death are common things, so why seek longevity? After leaving this sentence, he left here. Born in trouble, die in peace. The Qing dynasty lacked an opponent, which caused an emperor like Shin to pursue longevity without motivation. Compared with peace, sometimes war is more able to promote the progress of alchemy. Maybe it's time for a revolution. Shu Jie remembered the pieces he had arranged before. When the eastern tribes defeated the western tribes, it was precisely because of his intervention that they left bloodlines to the western tribes. These people are the touchstones he left to the eastern tribes. He looked down at the magnificent city-state. There is also a city here. There is the gathering place of descendants of western tribes. It sits beneath winding ravines and canyons. Various colors of smoke and dust leaked from the interlaced, corroded and aged smoke exhaust pipe network, filtering the light from above into strange colors, and cross-reflecting between the colored glass of the alchemy workshop. It is different from the bustling above. The residents here are all-encompassing and culturally diverse. This is called the lower city. Odysseus was concerned, and said to the undead gods, "Sadly, mortals blame it on our gods, and say that disasters are sent by us. In fact, they suffered because they lost their minds and exceeded the limit of their lives." The bard plays the bosom harp in his hand and begins to tell the history that belongs only to the western tribes. These histories were also preserved through the intervention of Shu Jie. History is the carrier of civilization. If people forget this history, then there is a high probability that Western tribes will no longer exist. And what about Odysseus? Said a blond boy. But the bard stopped speaking. Because at this time, a group of people wearing Chinese robes came over. What a dirty place, I really don't want to be here. No way, the hex gem was stolen, and this thing is likely to be hidden in the lower city. It's from the Yamen. Shish, everyone be quiet. The people from the lower city showed fear on their faces, and stood beside them with fearful hands and feet. We're looking for a group of kids, about 4, have you met? Asked the headed catcher. He wears a mask made of metal, which not only blocks the polluting gases, but also acts as a deterrent. The expressions of the people in the lower city are dull, and they have been thinking about how to fill their stomachs. Besides, these guys are from the city, is it necessary to help them? Zhu Kuei was slightly angry, and he grabbed a random person and began to ask. Come on, where are those kids? Bah, what does the mess in Shangcheng have to do with us? Court death, 1 punch, 2 punches, 3 punches. A ruthless fist hit him. Stop fighting. Your Majesty implements benevolent governance. If human life is lost, we can't explain it. The man next to him stopped him. You're lucky. Roll. Boom. 1 foot down. A man flew up, smashed into the wooden barrel next to it. And a corner. A pink-haired girl is watching here. Her fists were only clenched, and her heart was burning with anger. Calm down. In this life, a burly man came over and stroked her head. Then, he went out. Hey, let me see who it is. Fandral, you should take good care of this place, there are always some ignorant little mice running to our city. The leading hunter had a hippie smile. The man in front of him was the leader who once raised the banner of resistance. But after seeing the strength of Shangcheng, he never tried to resist again. Even if he was a small catcher, no matter how he taunted him, he would not talk back. This kind of behavior always makes him feel a different kind of achievement. Kong Yang, the person you were looking for is not here. It's better not to make trouble in the lower city, this is not the place you should come. Fandral frowned and said coldly. Fandral, who allowed you to speak to me in this tone? Lead the hunter to drink the shimmer potion. Roar. A fierce werewolf appeared in front of him. Fandral. Shu Jie became interested in this person. Immediately began to call up his data. It turns out that he is the leader here, a former gang member. The gang is an organization that once rebelled against Upper Town. Under his leadership, the lower city waged its first war against the upper city. But the end of the war was tragic. How could their flesh and blood be the opponents of the Knights of the Round Table? After this, Fandral's personality also reversed. He became cautious, always working to maintain the delicate balance of Upper Town and Lower Town. Shu Jie shook his head. Kong Wu is powerful, but lacks in wisdom. The person he was looking for was not him. This man is at least a master alchemist. However, it is time to help him. The hex site was left in the lower town, making him wonder what chemistry would be. Fandral is naturally not the opponent of the werewolf. Multiple bruises began to appear on his body. Just when the 4 little devils were about to stand up, Shu Jie got his hands on it. A strong wind blows. The werewolf flew out directly. The arresters were immediately blinded. This is the lower city, where does the wind come from? Kong Yang swayed and stood up. I want to keep going. His colleague quickly grabbed him. Kong Yang, you are crazy, this is wind. The Feng Zixing dynasty is sacred, and no one dares to desecrate it. He calmed down immediately. Cut, you were lucky, let's go. Watching the catcher leave, Shu Jie began to continue to select suitable candidates in the lower city. At this time, another force also entered his eyes. If Fandral is the leader on the bright side of the lower city, that Haikot is the king of darkness. He was originally Fandral's brother. But after the first battle of Upper and Lower City, the two of them had serious differences in philosophy. Hickett and Fandral had a fierce quarrel. He hoped that in this way, Fandral could be awakened, reminded of their shared dream, and let him continue to lead them downtown to rebel. Quarrel turns into conflict. The conflict between Fandral, who has been determined to endure, and Hickett escalates. The thin Hickett was naturally not Fandral's opponent. After his left eye was broken, he was drowning in the water by Fandral's neck. This experience not only made Haikot lose an eye, but more importantly, lost his faith, completely blackened. He begins to rule the darkness of the lower city with brutal means. Shu Jie frowned. This man is too dark inside. From light to darkness, it is more terrifying than the original darkness. However, the alchemist next to him aroused his interest. This is a man named Gidbin. Originally a genius, he had a morbid obsession with alchemy. In his early years, he had major success in the natural sciences at Alchemy University in Uptown. This would have been a good opportunity to step up. But at this time, the concept of alchemy was put forward. In the face of new opportunities, the merchants of Qing dynasty began to spend a lot of money, which also caused his natural science field to be ignored. Finally, the trend of alchemy began to dissipate, but the concept of hextech was proposed. He was hit again and did not want to change the direction of his research. He felt that alchemy and hex gems were both gifts from the goddess, and research related to shimmering medicine was attractive. By chance, he discovered the lower city. This is a treasure land. Not only can provide countless radiation creatures, even forbidden research is allowed, such as combining mechanical alchemy with the human body. This guy is kind of interesting. Mechanically transforming people is actually an idea of Shu Jie. If you mention a little, unexpected results may occur. Failed again. How so? He looked at the guinea pig who was mechanically transformed in front of him. Gidbin shook his head. I've been watching you. A voice suddenly sounded. Gidbin was slightly startled and looked around. Finally, he locked his gaze on the mouse. I saw the mutated mouse that had died, but stood up like a human. Who are you? He asked in surprise and fear. Some people call me the god of dreams, some call me a god, and some call me Hermes, but the name I'm called the most is my ancestor. The little white mouse smiled evilly. Ancestor, alchemy god. Gidbin immediately knelt down in fear. I'm very optimistic about your mechanical alchemy, but I'm going the wrong way. I'll give you some pointers. Hearing this sentence, he immediately became excited. Ancestor, please speak. The human body is indeed imperfect, or it is not the optimal solution. Humans have developed a splendid civilization, but your body is not much different from the ancestors millions of years ago. Things like wisdom teeth, cecum, male nipples, vomiting mechanisms, sugar liking, brain processing patterns, etc., have actually hindered the further development of human civilization. The guinea pig stood on the table, talking as he walked. Gidbin trembled, because his thoughts coincided with the ancestors. So I've been working on transforming the human body with machinery, but I can't activate life at all. That's because you ignore an important issue, the source of energy. The guinea pig explained. Do you think the human body's own energy can withstand the mechanical body? No, so I use shimmer potion to strengthen the human body. The principle of alchemy, equivalent exchange, although the shimmering potion can make people strong, but other places are damaged, so it is difficult for your human body to succeed. The answers you want are all in the hex gem, unlock its secrets, and you're not far from success. Hex gems. It turns out that the answer lies in the hex gem. But hex gems are uptown stuff, and I have no way of touching them. Or, ancestor, give me a little. Gidbin smiled evilly. Gidbin, don't be insatiable. The guinea pig glared furiously. At the same time, all the books in the entire laboratory began to float in the air, spinning wildly together. The resulting violent hurricane seemed to knock down the entire laboratory. Ancestor, I was wrong. I shouldn't be greedy. Gidbin fell to his knees and began to apologize. The hurricane stopped. The guinea pig said lightly, I can show you a clear path. Your assistant, Han Fei, is very talented. With your connections, it would be easy to send him to Alchemy University. Trust me, he will bring you miracles. Also, I suggest you change your name. How about Singe? After speaking, the mouse lost its vitality. It lay limply on the table, as if completely dead. After a quarter of an hour, Gidbin raised his head. The messy lab told him everything was true. It turns out that the hex gem is the key. Suddenly, a boy walked in with a box. Mr. Gidbin, I brought your shimmering potion. Gidbin squatted down and looked at the boy in front of him. Although his legs are a little lame, his intelligence is really good. Could he really help me fulfill my long-cherished wish to become a human body? This kid, he has the blood of the Eastern tribe. If you have certain knowledge, it is much easier to enter the Alchemy University than yourself. Mr. Gidbin, Han Fei had never seen Ji Deben look at him like this, which made him feel a little scared. Oh, don't call me Jidbin in the future, call me Singe, haven't you always wanted to know the secrets of alchemy? Now, I'll teach you. Jidbin, no, it should be called Singed. He took Han Fei into his secret study as if he were looking at a work of art. Seeing this scene, Xu Jie showed a relieved smile. This kid named Han Fei. Although he looked poor and lame, no one could pay attention to him. But he is the hope of the city. 2 months later, there is a trial in Shangcheng. The subject of the trial was Li Si, a researcher at Alchemy University. Li Si, you are in charge of the research on hex gemstones, but you have caused the loss of valuables, the explosion of the research institute, and the great loss of alchemy results. You know the guilt. On the high platform, the president of the Alchemy Council asked solemnly. Sorry, I didn't expect this. My behavior violated the management regulations of the college and even endangered the safety of others. I hope the council can forgive my crimes, and I hope to have the opportunity to continue the road of scientific research. Li Si looked sad. He also did not expect that there would be thieves from the lower city sneaking in his research room. Could it be related to the transaction between him and the people from the lower city? Ask for forgiveness. Besides this explosion, what else have you shown us? A female congressman next to him asked. I haven't had any results yet. Li Si lowered his head with some guilt. Then you mean that your research is meaningless? The congresswoman smiled sarcastically. No, my research is groundbreaking. Pioneering. Where is the groundbreaking? I only saw a hairy boy messing around with things he didn't understand. The congresswoman played with the pen in her hand, absent-mindedly, the corner of her mouth raised. How come the academy's standards seem to have relaxed a lot? We should raise our admissions standards, maybe downtown people can think about it. I agree, there are too many children in the aristocratic family, which has seriously disturbed the atmosphere of the school. There are so many important matters, this matter is a waste of my time, let's sentence him to exile. The surrounding noises filled Li Si's ears all the time. He closed his eyes and began to endure. Sudden, he looked around and said, I can create electricity. For a moment, the audience fell silent. Oh, it turned out to be electricity. Electricity is the most miraculous ability in nature. It is possessed by God the Father and cannot be created by man. When the lawmakers heard this, they began to discuss. But one of them mercilessly rejected it. I think it's possible. Li explained. Everyone here, has anyone tried it? The congresswoman asked. The surrounding alchemists shook their heads. In their opinion, lightning is the most terrifying energy in nature, and no one thought that humans could also create them. I tried to use kites to attract thunder and lightning. At this moment, a dwarf who did not speak suddenly spoke up. He was Warby the Goblin Crafter, and one of the first alchemists. At the same time, he also appreciates Li Si very much. Li Si, we will give you a chance to take out your device that can generate electricity. The congresswoman spoke up. Then, she looked at the counselors around her. They also nodded. Sweat appeared on Li Si's forehead. Although he has some research on electricity, it is not yet time to show it. But there is no way, the words have been said, I hope these members can recognize the extraordinary. Soon, a device was placed in front of everyone. It is composed of several magnet bars, copper coils, iron sheets and wires. The moment they saw the device, everyone frowned. Such a simple device can generate lightning. Li Si, are you serious? No kidding. Goblin Tinker Warby was also a little surprised. No, I think there is some kind of connection between electricity and magnetism, you can see it. Subsequently, he began to demonstrate the installation. I'm closing the switch now, members, watch carefully. Although Li Si put the wire on the iron plate, the placed magnet pointer quickly turned. For a moment, everyone in the audience was slightly startled. What force is it that deflects the needle? The congresswoman couldn't help but speak. Li said, my guess, this is the current, it makes the wire become like a magnet, and there must be some relationship between electricity and magnetism. If we can keep this pointer in constant motion, then we can use this force to work, what a great achievement. Xu Jie laughed when he saw this scene. Of course, he told Li Si about magneto-electricity. This seems to be the first time that the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction has appeared in the Alchemy Kingdom. I don't know how they will think about it. How do you know that the force of influence is electricity? The president of the parliament was also attracted by this magical phenomenon and questioned. Because I can make you see electricity. Saying that, Li Si accelerated the rotation of the magnet. Sizzle sizzle. The sound of electricity began to appear. Immediately afterwards, a blue fire appeared on the copper coil. Hiss. The whole place sucked in a breath of cold air. The weapon of the gods such as thunder and lightning can really be mastered by humans. But soon, a congressman wearing a double snake hat sneered. So, what's the use of it? In my opinion, this is just a novelty toy for entertainment. It can flash for a moment, or temporarily deflects the pointer, but doesn't really do anything, right? Alchemy University has a radish and a pit. As long as Li Si is driven away, there will be an extra place for his people to come in. Facing the taunts, Li Si lowered his head. I plan to use it to activate the hex gem. So, you succeeded. The congresswoman's interest was thoroughly picked up. No, the current is too weak, there is no way. Li Si's voice was much weaker. I have to admit that you have discovered something amazing. These may be able to add some help to our alchemy, so I suggest that Li Si's exile can be abolished. The death penalty can be avoided, and the living crime cannot be escaped. It is enough to expel Li Si from the academy. This thing can't prove its usefulness at once, at least it looks like a toy at the moment. MPs began to speak. In fact, Li Si took this step wrong. When they saw electricity, they saw countless possibilities. These possibilities are just enough to fool the capitalists into investing money in their own research, why let the stinky boy Li Si continue to research? But if he doesn't make this move, he may be exiled to the radiation land, which is no different from the death penalty. I need to invent a device called a generator, which must be able to bring new achievements to our civilization. Once we master it, we'll be able to unlock the secrets of the hexstone, so what's there to fear? Li Si began to defend, hoping that the council could see the device and continue his research. Li Si, stop talking. Goblin Warby suddenly spoke up. This is the capital of alchemy, think about how many miracles we have created, let us prove it. Enough. With Warby's roar, the council fell silent. You don't understand the dangers of this at all. How can you understand? I'm the only one here suffering the consequences of starting the lightning bolt. Warby began to think back. It was a war between the Goblin Kingdom and the planet Zon. Facing a one-sided battle. Goblin Academy of Magic intends to use lightning spells. Lightning spells are the most dangerous of all magic. It is chaotic, disordered, and out of control. After spending all the crystals, they finally used the fifth-order magic, thundercloud technique. But the violent thunder and lightning did not destroy the enemy, but destroyed all the goblin magicians. All the magicians turned to ashes in an instant and dissipated in the air, as if they had never existed. It was a nightmare that Warby could never forget. Since Warby is now a subject of Shujie, he can also see the image in his mind. He was suddenly startled. It seemed that the Goblin Kingdom really had two strokes. No wonder he felt a vision of heaven and earth at that time, and he thought it was a chain reaction caused by the hurricane he summoned. But fortunately, they used the forbidden technique, causing the backlash group to be destroyed, otherwise it would be really difficult to deal with. Warby is right, Thunderbolt is the weapon of God the Father, and the use of Thunderbolt is blasphemy against God. If that's the case, Li Si, your invention is meaningless. Since there is a consensus, I propose to expel Li Si. I agree. After a public vote, Li Si was expelled from the Alchemy Academy. How come? Li Si's eyes were dull, he couldn't believe that he was about to leave this palace of civilization. Alchemy was his life and could not continue to study. He didn't know where to go either. Unconsciously, he came to an abandoned high-rise building. Looking down, he took a deep breath. Slowly make up your mind and just jump down like this. At this moment, a voice appeared behind him. Ah, did I bother you? Li Si was startled instantly. He took a few steps back and turned around. Appears very angry. What's the matter with you? What are you doing here? What compensation list is my name on again? But this time it's in your notebook. And it's on every page. In the darkness, a young man on crutches stood up. It's a bit narcissistic, don't you think? That's what you're here for, to humiliate me. Li Sidian frowned angrily, but he was in a better mood. Fortunately, this young man stopped him from committing suicide. He can't die yet. Thunder and lightning are terrifying, but it's not unusable. He must prove it to the world. No, actually, I think what you said during your trial was very insightful. Han Fei slowly stepped forward with his notebook. That's the one that impresses you. Li Si laughed at himself. Indeed, I'm here to talk to you about your research, the theory of electric motors or generators that you put forward. That's not a theory. I've seen with my own eyes what kind of miracle electricity can do. It can turn night into day and light up all cities. Even, it can be used to save lives. You can't imagine how wonderful it is. Shu Jie touched his nose when he heard this. He just showed him the night view of Blue Star. Oh, there is also the role of a defibrillator. It's all over now, and no one will believe me. And no one ever believed me. Han Fei walked to his side. A poor and lame man from the bottom city, from the moment he stepped into the upper city, he could only be an outsider. I have never received any support, and I have no family to take care of. I can only gamble and believe in myself. That's why I came to you, because I think your findings are extraordinary, and I want to help you with your research. No one is optimistic that it can be done. And the power of thunder and lightning cannot be desecrated. Hearing his words, Li Si was a little surprised, but he was not so confident about the future. When you have the ability to change the world, you don't have to ask anyone for approval. With that said, Han Fei exchanged his notebook back into his hand. I don't even know what your name is. My name is Han Fei. Seeing the two men shaking hands, Shu Jie knew that the wave was stable. He had already told Li Si the principles of generators and motors. Kinetic energy and electrical energy can be converted into each other. Actually, I have already made a small hand crank generator, but the power generated by this is too weak, and we need more powerful power. Li Si and Han Fei came to the laboratory, and he took out a small generator and said, I have a good idea. There is a cliff near the city, and there is a waterfall there. The use of water energy may increase the kinetic energy and convert a large amount of electricity. My God, Han Fei, you are such a genius. Li Si's eyes lit up. This method is really good. However, we're one hex gem short. Maybe we can hire thieves from the lower city. 3 nights later, 2 people pushed a strange device to the middle of the waterfall. The huge water flow here can provide a steady stream of kinetic energy. We have to hurry, those arresters are about to come after us. I know, Han Fei, don't rush me. Li Si completed the final debugging of the device, and then the generator was stuck in the middle of the waterfall. Immediately, the generator started to run, and a surging current began to appear. This is it. Put the hex gem on it. Stop, you guys. At this moment, Warby and Catcher spotted them above the cliff. Quick, quick, leave them alone. Han Fei urged. I believe in miracles. Liz took a deep breath and placed the hexstone on the discharger. Boom, a blue light appeared at night. It soars into the sky. Light up the whole city. Li Si and Han Fei floated in the air as if they were weightless. Did you succeed? Warby was stunned. He saw the miracle. The energy of the hex gemstone actually stabilized. How can this be? Emperor Shin walked out of the bedroom and looked at the scene outside and was a little confused. Is anyone flying up again? Shu Jie was overjoyed. Hex's secret was finally cracked by them. Since then, Qing dynasty has entered the first year of Hextech. One hex device after another was invented. The most famous of them are the hexagon and the Hextech cubic battery. Set the male of the flying gate at point A, and set the female of the flying gate at point B. Entering point A can be directly teleported to point B. Greatly increases the convenience of transportation. With the invention of the hexagon, the trade of the Qing dynasty became more prosperous. Hexagon cubic cells, which are hexahedral structures, can capture the energy of crystals and make them portable. The Goblin craftsman Warby used it on the Goblin helicopter to invent an aircraft that can be used by humans to fly. But both honors belong to Li Si, and Han Fei is doing his hex core research. In Shu Jie's view, although the Qing dynasty has become more prosperous at present, but the danger is gradually increasing. They use waterfalls to generate electricity. This has led to a serious reduction in water resources in the lower city, and the seeds of resistance are slowly sprouting. The rest, he didn't care either. It was only a matter of time before Li Si and Han Fei broke up. The two of them are very different in concept. Li Si uses hex technology devices to help others, but Han Fei prefers mechanical ascension, replacing human body parts with machinery. As for Shin, he has become addicted to the power of the hex stone. I hope to use it to refine the stone of the sage. For such a result, he was a little disappointed, but didn't want to stop it. The Emperor's pursuit of immortality conforms to the laws of human nature. Shin should be used as a counterexample and engraved on the pillar of shame in history, so that later emperors will give up the pursuit of immortality. Check out the planet's panel. Today's Zon's population has grown significantly after its size has increased. Planet name: Zon. Area: 800 kilometers in diameter. Environment: radiation area 75%. Intelligent life: ordinary humans. Civilization level 1. Civilization type: Alchemy civilization. Planet ranking: not on the list. Strength: ordinary mutants 1202, elite mutants 250, Edmund alloy warriors 12, hex archers 100, hex hammers 30. Hex archer. Shu Jie opened the information and it turned out that this was the first hex weapon. It was invented by an alchemist named Ikaria. The hex coil of this bow is so powerful that the arrows it shoots are strong enough to penetrate copper walls and iron walls. That's why it's also called Ikaria's Hexian bow. Nice stuff. He is very satisfied with this weapon. It does not require very high energy for hex gems. One hex gem can make 10 hex strong bows. Save resources and equip large troops, which is more perfect than many single lethal weapons. Hex hammer. This weapon turned out to be designed by Li Si. It's no wonder that before entering Alchemy University, he made hammers. This weapon can be used in melee and long-range combat and can be switched freely. And these two forms can produce very terrifying power. But now there is a problem. That is, there are fewer and fewer hex gems. That's an astronomical amount if you've been providing it with points on your own. Drop. Shu Jie walked out of the ecological maintenance cabin. A week later, although there was no problem with nutrition, he still wanted to eat something warm. Robot nanny cooks steak. Just took a bite. The phone rang suddenly. Shu Jie was a little surprised. He has no friends, and his phone is basically just used to watch the news. Who are you looking for? Hello, student Shu, good morning. A familiar voice came from the other end of the phone. Chen Qi. Shu Jie was a little surprised. Chen Qi is the only classmate in the class who is somewhat close to him. He did leave her a cell phone number. What's up? My planet has been invaded. Chen Qi said anxiously. The initial planet is protected by a barrier, how can it be invaded? He was a little puzzled. I don't know either. The other party seems to have some kind of special means. Now the world channel is slowly opening, and some enemies have rushed in. They are not something I can block at all. I hope you can help me. Of course, I won't ask you to contribute in vain. After everything is done, I will give you a source of power. The last sentence, Chen Qi almost said with gritted teeth. One source of power is worth 5 million federal coins. Although her family is well off, it is not easy to come up with this money. After thinking for a moment, Shu Jie said, I can help you, but I need to see the enemy's information. If it is something I can deal with, it doesn't matter if you help me once, I will take what I need from your world then. The power of the source is unnecessary. Although the power of the source is precious, it is of little use to him at present. And Chen Qi's relationship with him is not bad, if it's within the ability, it's nothing to do a favor. Then Shu Jie entered the awakening space again. Unlike last time, a green planet appeared next to him. That should be Chen Qi's planet. Student Shu Jie, this is the enemy who invaded my planet. The translucent Chen Qi appeared beside him. Although she doesn't have the beauty of Bai Qianchen, she is small and lovely, giving people the feeling of a little home Jasper. Follow the direction she points. Shu Jie saw the invading enemy. It was a subhuman that resembled humans. The difference is that they are taller, with double horns on their heads and a thick tail. Those are the Aolongs. They are born warriors, with more power and wildness than humans. Shu Jie tilted his head. Musha, that's it. This is too weak. Cosmic Sea. Above a khaki planet. A translucent figure is looking down at the asteroid. On the asteroid, there are thousands of Aolong clan hunting. These Aolongs are his initial race, and they are several times more than the human race in terms of martial arts. The Aolong family is a powerful race in the early stage. So the most suitable evolutionary route for him is invasion. His name is Bai Jiwei, and he relies on his parents' connections at the top of the federal government. It's too easy to get the coordinates of some planets. I didn't expect this opponent to be a bit difficult to deal with. I don't know how you can block the world passage, but you can't last long. When the passage is opened, I must plunder your planet. Bai Jiwei smiled grimly. In his opinion, there are almost no planets that can rival him. The last 3 school joint entrance examination, if it wasn't to hide my strength, the first one would definitely be mine. But the next 3 models are the highlight. There was a trace of disdain in his eyes. Record: the world channel is about to open. Qing Dynasty. Xu Jie passed down the oracle. Troops began to gather. Since the opponent is a warrior, he also didn't want to use an army of mutants. Just look at the power of the Hex army. But to be conservative, he asked Cindy to send 3 Edmund alloy warriors. Record: Pandora opens the world to you. A burst of light flashed, and Xu Jie's army appeared on the planet Pandora. Chen Qi was a little surprised when he saw his army. Xu Jie, there may be thousands of people on the opposite side. Do you have enough troops? Of course not, but 130 people would be enough in my opinion. Xu Jie said lightly. She was startled, but quickly calmed down. The last time Xu Jie performed in the 5th wave, she could see it very clearly. It took only 12 people to defeat the army of tens of thousands of undead. Soon, the 2 armies began to converge. Xu Jie also saw Chen Qi's army. What she awakened turned out to be Malmaizu. This is a demihuman race. Raised ears and soft tail are the characteristics of Maizu cats. Their male-to-female ratio is very unbalanced, with an overwhelming majority of women. At the same time, the social form is a matriarchal society, and the status of women is much higher than that of men. Although Chen Qi is very confident in Xu Jie's strength. But the people of Malmaizu obviously don't think so. Is this the reinforcement that the envoy said? How come there are only more than 100 people, and except for the leading 3, the others give me the feeling that they are just ordinary soldiers? The adjutant next to the Katmaizu leader Alice said. Alice said lightly, the stars guide me, trust them, and we will win this war. Xu Jie was a little surprised. It turned out that Chen Qi's planet, the awakening energy, turned out to be astrology magic. This group of cats, Maizu, was able to create a science that knows the seasons according to the movement of the stars. Since then, the field of astronomy has gradually differentiated. Among them, Surian, an academic city-state located in Beiyang, has developed a miracle of astrological magic by combining the constellations in the sky with its own ether. Holding a celestial globe that keeps spinning, they open up new destiny through mystery cards that allude to the constellations. This is the mission of astrologers. The guidance of the stars. Hearing this sentence, the adjutant didn't say much. She looked at the more than 100 ordinary human soldiers with a hint of respect in her eyes. The world channel is completely opened. Bai Jiwei's Aolong troops landed on the vast grassland, with a total of tens of thousands of people. Chen Qi was startled. According to her estimate, the other side had at most 5,000 troops. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be tens of thousands. Don't worry, the opponent is weak, we can win. Xu Jie saw her worry and quickly comforted her. Most of the tens of thousands of warriors are ordinary warriors, and there are only 1,000 warriors. The most powerful of them are 100 martial artists, and their strength should be similar to that of ordinary mutants. 10 martial kings should be the opponent's trump card. Such an army, if it is the 5th wave of the last thorough examination, can easily pass the customs. However, it has been a while since the final exam. He should be a first-tier student. I just don't know if it's 1, 2, or 6. However, he dared to come here, and he let this group of people come and go. When Chen Qi heard his words, he was shocked. Brother, do you have any misunderstanding about weakness? Hey, you even found a helper. Bai Jiwei, who descended on Pandora, frowned. He sensed that there was another will in this world. It's interesting, this is also called reinforcements. It's just 100 people, it's too much to take me seriously. Bai Jiwei laughed angrily. My people, go, smash everything you see. Everything on this planet is yours. Women, wealth, and fame, use your hands to fight for it. His spiritual sense descended and he sent instructions to the leader of the Aolong clan. Roar. The entire Aolong clan let out a roar, and their fighting spirit was completely aroused. The Aolong general frowned as he looked at the coalition forces in front of him. Wong, the number of people on the opposite side looks so small. The Lord God also asked us to dispatch so many people, which is really making a fuss. The lion fights the rabbit, and I still do my best. How can you understand the pattern of the Lord God? The Aolong king replied coldly. They have invaded more than 10 planets. Every time the whole army is dispatched. No matter how weak or strong the opponent is. It was a blitzkrieg that caught the opponent off guard. However, this time the prey was really good. The little girls on the opposite side are more enchanting than each other. Grab it back and you will definitely enjoy it. Big brother, the dark-skinned kitten on the left is mine. An Aolong warrior looked at the beautiful woman opposite, and his saliva was about to flow out. This time I finally invaded a good planet. The one in the middle is mine. Roll. That one was booked by me. ... While they were arguing, there was a burst of sound. No, the enemy has launched an attack. The Aolong general said. Boom, boom, boom. I saw more than 100 arrows shot over. Cut. This time, defend. The Aolong clan king said with a disdainful smile. In the face of these limp arrows, the Aolong warriors were too lazy to raise their shields. The powerful bodies of their warriors are enough to resist such an attack. Sure enough, the helper she called was only a third-year student. The first-level planet master has a special barrier protection, and other strong people can't come in at all. Bai Jiwei smiled grimly. Ding, ding, ding. The arrows hit them, unable to penetrate their bodies at all. Chen Qi was a little anxious. She thought that Xu Jie was sure, but she didn't expect that it was just an ordinary rain of arrows. How could this possibly cause damage to the enemy army? Change the hex bow. Under the order of the second knight, all archers are replaced with Ikaria's hex bow. The hex coil of this bow is densely wound, and the energy generated by the center of the arrow body is so powerful that the shot crossbow can penetrate any defense. Boom, boom, boom. Another round of arrow rain. The arrow shot this time is a blue energy light arrow. The face of the Aolong clan king changed greatly. He hastily asked the soldiers to raise their shields. But it was too late. Boom. There was a loud noise from the Aolong clan's position. Countless warriors were directly blown to pieces. Some blue light arrows even pierced through dozens of them before they stopped. The audience was shocked. This terrifying power, what the hell is this? Continue. The second knight was not surprised by such power. He coldly ordered his men to fire salvos. In his eyes, the opposite is already a group of dead people. You must kill the opponent's archer and rush with me. The Aolong clan king roared angrily. Countless warriors responded. They rushed towards the coalition positions. Chen Qi quickly gave orders to her astrologer. Gravity. Alice gave orders to the army. The celestial globes in the hands of 100 astrologers began to spin. The gravity of a certain point on Pandora's planet instantly increased several times. The Aolong clan felt as if they were weighing thousands of pounds of profound iron, and their pace became much slower. The speed of light. Alice gave orders again. A stopwatch card appeared at the top of 100 astrologers. In an instant, the speed at which the hex archer pulled the bow and arrow increased a lot. Xu Jie nodded slowly. It turns out that Chen Qi's astrology magic is more inclined to assist. With the support of 2 auxiliaries, the Aolong tribe suffered more casualties. In just a quarter of an hour, half of the troops were lost. Wong, we are not their opponents. The generals of the Aolong clan said in battle. The heart of the army. Die. The Aolong clan king showed no mercy, and cut off his head with one knife. Aolong warriors, hold on. The Lord God is watching us and he will help us win the war. With a wave of his arms, he began to boost morale. Roar. Kill them all. Rush. The Aolong tribe was originally a bloodthirsty race. In this way, their bloodiness was instantly stimulated. Bai Jiwei looked down very anxiously. What he can do now is to consume the power of the source and treat the Aolong warriors. But that's just a drop in the bucket. It seems that he can only let his trump card go up. At his behest, the strongest warrior of the Aolong clan. 10 martial kings were killed. Their speed is amazing. Under the effect of gravity, it can still walk like a fly. Enter the heavy hammer, the second knight said coldly. The weapons in the hands of the 30 hammers have changed. From melee form to ranged form. Boom, boom, boom. 30 huge blue energy balls flew towards the opposite side. A martial king couldn't dodge in time. Was blasted to pieces directly. The other martial kings suddenly changed color. This kind of power is really terrifying. King Wu's body can be described as reinforced iron bones. With this kind of physical strength, if you take a hit casually, your whole body will be shattered. The third knight, the fourth knight, come with me. The second knight knows. Hex weapons are difficult to master. Each of these hex soldiers is precious. They must be protected. The 3 knights rushed to the front of the team, and 2 steel claws flashing with cold light appeared in their hands at the same time. Shu Jie understood that this battle was coming to an end. Blood is flowing, not a single one remains. The 3 Edmund alloy warriors cut off King Wu's head in an instant. Even if they practice golden bells and iron shirts. In the face of Edmund alloy, this strength is the younger brother. Ow, Lord God save me. A warrior king let out a miserable wailing. But no one could save him. The steel claws of the first knight pierced him instantly. So far, all 10 warrior kings died. Bai Jiwei's eyes were red, and his whole face became hideous and terrifying. His invincible army, the highly talented Aolong clan. Sweep more than 10 planets. To be defeated so easily. I am a person who stood on the top of the mountain when I was born. It is my privilege to be happy with everything. This world exists only to welcome my arrival. Why are you? This planet, I remember, one day, I will destroy it completely. Destroy. Bai Jiwei became a little crazy. There is no need to kill all of these Aolongs. Shu Jie said lightly. Don't kill them all. Let them go. Chen Qi was a little confused. Shu Jie nodded slowly. Yes, there is a price to pay for the invasion. Just knocking them back is too cheap for them. On his suggestion, Chen Qi began to control the troops to deliberately release water. Hex archers are also starting to switch to regular bows. Bai Jiwei was very surprised when he saw this. It seems that those strange bows and arrows really have energy limitations. Now is a good time to retreat. Every time he strikes, he is all the elite. If completely folded here, then it's all over. The Aolong king frowned. He had just received an order to retreat. He clenched his fists, very unwilling. Their army, since entering this world, he has been beaten on the head. For so long, in addition to stunning a few enemies with a shield. It can be said that not a single enemy was killed. But so what? Defeat like a mountain. Pass my order, retreat. The subordinates heard the order. Immediately overjoyed. Hurry down to convey the order. The army of 10,000 people now has only a few thousand people left. The world channel begins to appear. Shu Jie's eyes lit up. He immediately redeemed one thing from the system. Golden Snitch. Category. Props. Effect. Can track enemy units and find planet coordinates. Redemption required. 200,000 points. With this thing, he can know the location of the Aolong planet. Buzz. The delicate golden snitch immediately flew towards the Aolong army. Hiding quietly behind a warrior's shield. Shu Jie. Thank you. I'll open up all the resources of the planet. If you like it, just take it. Chen Qi said with a smile. Etc. I have one more thing to do. Shu Jie was preparing to deal with this invading planet at this time. Soon, the coordinates appeared on his interface. He was a little surprised. Because the diameter of the other party's planet is 1,500 kilometers in diameter. I go. Shu Jie's saliva was almost dripping. The planet is really rich and oily. Sudden, the speed of the Aolong planet accelerated a lot. Shu Jie frowned. This planet is really rich. It actually consumes the world's origin doubled and speeds up the speed. You must mobilize quickly. Otherwise, when they develop, it will be difficult to deal with. With a thought, he immediately sent instructions to Emperor Xin. Qing Dynasty. Xin Di received the order. His face was a little dull. He spent countless resources to find the Sage's Stone. He even asked his most powerful alchemist to take 100 boys and girls out to sea to places where his ancestors had never set foot before. Invading the planet has not aroused much interest in him. I remember that the people in Shachang have been dancing very happily. Why don't you give them this opportunity and let them go? Shindi said lightly. Your Majesty, the strength of Shachang is not at the same level as ours. If we fail, the ancestors will be blamed, and it will be an unimaginable disaster. The sixth knight said solemnly. Well, what you said makes sense. It turned out to be the case. You lead a 1,000-strong army to fight in the back, and let the people from the lower city go first. Shindi said indifferently. The sixth knight knew that this was to use the lower city as cannon fodder. But the first law of knighthood is loyalty. He said solemnly. Subordinates obey. Shu Jie wanted to laugh a little when he saw this scene. This Emperor Shin's pursuit of immortality has become a bit of a devil. But that's actually a good thing. This event is sure to fuel the rebellion in the lower city. At least Li Si and Han Fei had already quarreled. Shouldn't we stop Emperor Shin from doing this? Should the people of the lower city die in vain? Han Fei argued with reason. Although the lower city is dominated by Western tribes. But at the same time, many abandoned babies in the upper city grew up in the lower city, and Li Si is one of them. He has already regarded the people in the lower city as his benefactors, how could he let them die in vain? Han Fei, what is sacrifice? The warriors who went to the city at the beginning, in order to become stronger, also fought in the outer world and gained the opportunity of their ancestors. This matter is actually an opportunity for people from the lower city. Can you lend us the hex weapons then? No, the energy of the hex is too dangerous to fall into the hands of the people of the lower city. Li Si, you forgot, I'm also from the city. Sorry, my brother. No. You stay away from me. Chapter 31. Han Fei's objection was useless. Under the oppression of Emperor Shin, downtown people began to gather. In the end, Shangcheng and Shangcheng formed an army together. Shu Jie consumes 20% of the world source to open the world channel. A gate with a halo spread appeared on the planet of Zan. At the same time, Bai Jiwei also found out. A channel appeared on his own planet. How is this possible? Are they chasing after them? He was startled and angry. Quickly arrange soldiers for defense. Bang, bang, Shu Jie's army entered the planet of the Aolong tribe. The moment you enter, countless people from the city couldn't help but take a deep breath. Compared to the lower city, this place is really much better. Prepare to attack. Leave no grass. The order they received this time was to snatch all resources. But at the same time, not a single Aolong clan should be spared. Downtowners began to drink artificially made shimmer potions. These potions are all imitations of werewolf potions. In an instant, all kinds of strange monsters appeared on the Aolong planet. Bai Jiwei felt sick for a while. What are these? Fierce fighting broke out in an instant. The Aolong family is really strong. Under melee combat, he was able to fight back and forth with mutants. But this may be because their shimmering potions are all imitations. The sixth knight frowned at everything. He knows. It's time to do it yourself. With a bang, the Hexian bow begins to prepare. What happened? We are fighting. Are they going to kill their own people? Bai Jiwei couldn't understand. What he didn't know was that there were two forces on Shu Jie's planet. These are all his intentions. Boom. Under the shower of hex arrows, everything begins to perish. Install hex gates. The sixth knight took to the sky in a goblin helicopter just now. It turns out that this place is indeed wider than the planet of Zan. It's not bad. In addition to leading the army, they also have a lot of logistical units. The logistics force took airships and began to install hex gates in this world to facilitate looting. No, my medicine field. My horse farm. My phantom beast. My workshop. Bai Jiwei's heart was dripping blood. Zan was originally a barren planet. Wasting it on Zan is the original sin. Everything on this planet is being transported slowly. It was really a blade of grass, and nothing was left for him. Shu Jie plundered the planet. No psychological burden at all. Because he found that many things here should not exist at all. Such as eudemons. They should have been plundered by the Aolong clan from other planets. Done with this. Shu Jie opened the world channel with Chen Qi again. How about you, over there? Seeing Shu Jie coming over, she asked with some concern. The Aolong clan was destroyed by me. By the way, I remember that the Aolong clan caused you a lot of losses, and these things should be enough to make up for you. Conversation room. The sixth knight brought soldiers and escorted a group of black leopards in. These are good mounts. Your astrologer's weakness is that he is afraid of getting close. If he has a mount for protection, it should be much better. Shu Jie laughed. These panthers are of no use to him. Because mutants are faster than black panthers. Thanks. Chen Qi was grateful. Really made a good friend. She immediately opened her world panel. Shu Jie, look at my world. If you need anything, you can use it at will. Shu Jie nodded. This is the initial condition. He started to look up. Sudden, he saw a strange creature. This creature has sparkling crystals all over its body. He actually felt the breath of hex gems. This is the shell people on the planet Pandora. They have no intelligence, they are a bunch of beasts, and I don't know what they are for. Chen Qi explained. Can you give me these shell people? Shu Jie asked. Sure, Chen Qi is very generous. In fact, this is also a kind of resource exchange. It is also very popular among classmates. However, there are also many classmates who sensed the strength of the other planet during the exchange of resources, and finally turned against each other and began to invade. Therefore, such transactions are generally carried out between the best friends or relatives. Blue Star, Shanghai and Shenzhen Stock Market, Thomson First Product. A boy came out of the hold cabin. His face was ashen, and he looked malnourished. Master, what's wrong with you? The housekeeper next to him hurried over to help him and asked very distressedly. My Aolong planet was destroyed. Bai Jiwei gritted his teeth. What? Master must be notified immediately. Etc. Do not want. Invading the original planet was his own idea. If you let your dad know, he will definitely peel his skin. Compared to dad, my mother is more forgiving to herself. Then he called his mother. No, 8 high school principal's office. Principal Kong Xian, who just concluded his investigation, is in the process of grading. The dean asked, how is the progress of the students' planetary civilization? It's a trio right now. Different from the previous 2 models. The 3 models are closer to the college entrance examination. And because 8 high school won the first place in the second echelon. The third mode can be directly tested with the number 1, number 2, and number 6 high schools. If you can get results in the 3 models, then the college entrance examination will be stable. Kong Xian said, it's not bad. Among our 100 students, more than 20 planets have reached the size of dwarf planets. Bai Qianshan's planet is directly 2,000 kilometers in diameter. I heard this answer. The head teacher was overjoyed. Planet size and civilization are closely related. The more prosperous the civilization, the more the origin of the planet will increase, and finally the planet will gradually increase. Sudden, he thought of a person. The top 4 schools last time, Shu Jie. Principal, what about Shu Jie? The instructor asked. Shu Jie, this kid is still 800 kilometers in diameter. Kong Xian said with some regret. What, it didn't increase at all. The dean was a little surprised. You must know that even the students at the end of the crane at number 8 middle school have somewhat increased the size of the planet. It should be related to the radiation planet. If the radiation on the planet cannot be eliminated, it may be difficult for its planet to grow. It's no wonder that Shu Jie is the first among the 4 schools, and the capitalists are not very optimistic. Presumably they already knew this would be the outcome. Kong Zhang is very sad. Shu Jie is really a good seedling. It is a pity that the radiation planet he awakened has seriously hindered his development. It seems that we should still focus on the cultivation of Bai Qianshan. The dean nodded slowly. Zan planet. Shu Jie placed the shell people in a remote forest in the Qing dynasty. They just wiped out the radiant creatures in this area. Plant sunshine mushrooms. Haven't had time to develop yet. Go, live well on this land. With the opening of the world channel, one after another, creatures with crystal shells began to spread out in the forest. That way, you don't have to worry about running out of hex energy. After all, I have been using points to exchange, and no one can afford it. By the way, let's see how the chess pieces you have placed are doing. After thinking about it, he began to look at Alchemy University. At this time, Han Fei was conducting research. A polyhedron like a Rubik's Cube is suspended in the air. It keeps turning. What is this? It's just so beautiful. Han Fei's female assistant came over and exclaimed. I can't figure out why the device doesn't work. Han Fei was a little distressed. You can do it. Trust yourself. Maybe you can try mechanical ascension. At this moment, the female assistant's voice suddenly changed and became strange. Who are you? Han Fei clearly felt something was wrong. I am the creator of the Hex Stone. Saying that, the female assistant stepped forward. Grab the Hex Gem in one hand and play with it like a marble. Wait, you are very dangerous, those gems are not stable at all, and they will explode at any time. Han Fei looked terrified, but he suddenly found out. Those unstable Hex Gems actually stabilized. This is the original gem that has not been activated by electricity. Are you an ancestor? He seemed to understand something. That's right, your body should not be able to. Starting to cough up blood, right? Cough cough. As soon as Xu Jie finished speaking, Han Fei coughed up a large pool of blood. Have you ever thought about it? The reason why your experimental subjects are withered and rotten, maybe the problem is not that you made a mistake in your calculations, but that you chose the wrong experimental subjects. Natural nature makes the human body reject mutation, but luckily alchemy can help you change your nature. Xu Jie controlled the female assistant's body and said lightly. Did you mean shimmer? Han Fei seemed to have realized something. Glimmer can, but doesn't completely change the form of life. Please tell me the truth. Han Fei knelt down. Man is the sum total of social relations. After the female assistant said this, she fainted. Han Fei hurried over. The female assistant's eyes slowly opened. Seeing herself lying in Han Fei's arms, she couldn't help but blushed. Han Fei knew that the ancestors had already left. You go first and leave me alone. After speaking, he sent the female assistant out of the laboratory. Right now, Liz came in. Along with him was the goblin tinker Warby. Li Si took out the blue gem and said, Han Fei, look, this is the real Hex Gem. I use electric current to activate the Hex Gemstone to obtain such a perfect stable structure. No matter what kind of impact it gets, it won't explode. Saying that, he threw the gem on the ground heavily. A blue light flickered. The explosion did not happen. How about it? It's amazing. Li Si said happily. It's really awesome, Han Fei said lightly. 2 minutes ago, he had personally seen someone play with the original gemstone in his hands. What is this gem worth? However, Xu Jie was very happy. Such a gem will undoubtedly further make Hextech prosperous. I heard that in this war, many people in the bottom city were seriously injured, and many of them lost their hands and feet. Han Fei was disappointed. I'm really sorry, but it's a war, and there will always be bloodshed in wars, not to mention that His Majesty gave them a lot of the spoils this time. Li Si sighed. Li Si, then why are they the ones who bleed? Han Fei said angrily. Pay attention to your wording, I'm a congressman now, call me a congressman. Facing Han Fei's anger, Li Si showed his identity. Have you forgotten that we are not determined to improve people's livelihood, help the weak and the poor, and seek development for the bottom? Friend, we seem to have drifted farther and farther. Han Fei held back his anger and looked out the window in a trance. What do you mean? Li Si was puzzled. We were very happy together in the past and had common ideals and pursuits, but now, we can't be compatible anymore, we should part ways. After Han Fei finished speaking, he walked outside the laboratory. Han Fei left Shengcheng. Go downtown. He began to use machinery to help the downtowners who had lost their hands and feet. He is a genius in the field of mechanical automation. More and more people in the city hope that his invention will be reborn. At the same time, he was still thinking about a sentence. Man is the sum of social relations. Cough, cough. He spat out a pool of blood. The body is really like what the ancestors said, is it getting worse and worse? At this time, a man came over. Singed. Han Fei was surprised. What's wrong with your face? It's nothing, there was a small fire in the lower city during your absence. What are you doing here? Singed asked. I want a little shimmer potion, I heard you have stock here. Han Fei said. You want to help that little girl. How do you know? Han Fei was a little surprised. I see everything you do in Shacheng. But this can't save her. Her internal organs have been infected, and the low light can only accelerate her death. Singed said lightly. He picked up a blueprint. That's the hex core. He frowned. Presumably this kid wanted to use this to let himself save the little girl. Well, I have to say, you won. Actually, I've been doing research on this recently. Saying that, Singed took out a mechanical device. What's this? Looking at this ingenious mechanical device, Han Fei was a little fascinated. Mechanical heart. It has some flaws though, and that is that it doesn't have enough energy to activate it, but I think you should be able to. Singed smiled grimly. Boom. Suddenly, Han Fei seemed to understand something. Even if someone dies and is replaced by an identical robot, the person who exists as a social connection is not dead. If another robot seamlessly replaces the previous one when it is scrapped, the person has achieved immortality. It turns out that this is the so-called mechanical soaring. Achieve immortality through mechanical substitution. Xu Jie was somewhat relieved. It seemed he finally understood. Steel can fix all his flaws. Time flies. Han Fei is immersed in the study of mechanical internal organs. He hopes to change the shape of the human body to create a new evolutionary creature. But at the same time, the contradiction between the upper city and the lower city gradually deepened. This conflict reached its climax after a little blue-haired girl killed more than a dozen arresting fasts. Xu Jie knew. The war between the upper city and the lower city is about to break out. Late at night, on the bridge connecting the upper and lower cities, two men are talking. Han Fei, your health is getting worse and worse. Li Si cared. Cough, cough. Han Fei spat out blood. It's none of your business. I heard that you plan to make hex weapons. You used to say that hex equipment was used for well-being, but now, you use it as a weapon of destruction. Do you know that people in the lower city are terrifying? She killed 10 arresters. Tomorrow, the army will enter the lower city tomorrow. This will be a big purge. Take care to protect yourself. After Li Si finished speaking, he left the bridge. Han Fei squatted on the ground in pain. After a moment, he raised his head. The eyes have changed. Maybe it's time for a glorious evolution. He shut himself in his private laboratory. Erase. Digestion. In analysis path. Destroy, then improve. Boom. A huge beam of energy is generated. A new life form is born. The human jealousy that had festered in his heart had all disappeared. In its place is absolute sanity. I am a mechanical ascender. I am the first devotee. I will use the name given by my lord. From today onwards, my name is Victor. Record: a mechanical ascender appears in your people, and they get special equipment. Turbine Alchemy Pot. Xu Jie's system showed such a prompt. Turbo Alchemy Pot. He was overjoyed, but he didn't expect that there would be prop rewards. Turbo Alchemy Pot. Category: Mythic Props. Effect: Speed, Defense. Introduction. It used to be a semi-finished product made by a certain alchemist. After the mysterious disappearance of the alchemist, it can give people extraordinary power, but ordinary people cannot control this power at all. Mythical Props. Earned. The rarity of mythical items is second only to legendary items. Nice one. At present, with Victor's strength, although he is very strong, he is not Li Si's opponent. By the way, give this thing to him. Suddenly, a purple helmet appeared in front of Victor. This is. He was stunned for a while. Congratulations on being the first devotee. This is your reward. Take it and start a revolution. Ethereal voices appeared all around. Victor was all excited. This turned out to be a gift from the ancestors. Qing Dynasty, the 12th year of Emperor Xin. This day was the darkest day in the entire Qing Dynasty. The upper city carries out a major cleaning of the lower city. Countless people who resisted were directly killed. Even the king of the darkness in the lower city, Hicket, was not spared. There were heart-wrenching roars everywhere. Right now, one person stood up. He is Victor. Zzz. The third hand on Victor's back fired a laser. More than a dozen soldiers were chopped into pieces in an instant. Xu Jie watched the dispute indifferently. Although Zan's combat effectiveness is being lost, but not broken, after the establishment of the new order, it will surely make the planet of Zan more prosperous. Victor's appearance let downtown people see hope. Under his leadership, morale was lifted all of a sudden. The fire slowly burned across the bridge. Come to Uptown. Li Si frowned at everything in front of him. The one who took the lead gave him a familiar feeling. You are Han Fei? Li asked. My name is Victor. Victor has given up all his emotions, and he only has the task in his eyes, to liberate the lower city. Zzz. The third hand fires a scorching laser. Shoot forward. The third knight stood up. He stood in front of Li Si. Wake up, he has changed, he is no longer your friend. When Liston woke up, his eyes became firm, he wanted to protect the city. Boom. The shape of the hammer of Mercury in his hand changed, and a shell was fired. The smoke dissipated. Victor wasn't hurt in the slightest. A purple energy shield appeared on his body. This is the protective shield of the Turbo Alchemy jar. What's this? The purple shield made Li Si stunned. God's gift. Mach full on. Zzz. The third hand laser instantly doubled in size. Even Edmund alloys can't handle this terrifying energy. Instantly cut in half. At the same time, what was cut was the heavy gate of the upper city. Go, take back what belongs to you. Victor waved his scepter. Countless people from the lower city ran towards the upper city. His target is the sunshine mushroom seed, and the hex gem. With these two things, he was able to follow the oracle. Create a new kingdom. Longevity Palace. Smoky. Emperor Shin is concocting alchemy. Although the sage's stone is the key to eternal life. But the medicine pill can greatly extend his lifespan. Shindi felt the passing of life. Now in his eyes. Hex doesn't matter. Elixir is everything. Your Majesty, there is a rebellion in the lower city. A guard with blood on his face came to report. Oh. What is the third knight doing? Didn't he suppress it? Shindi said lightly. The third knight is dead. Died. Shindi was finally moved. He came to the high platform. The whole city was full of fire. A mess. What about the widowed army? Repression. Shindi said angrily. Your Majesty, those people from the lower city, I don't know what power they have. Look at our city gate. Emperor Shin looked at the city gate. I saw that the city gate, which was tens of meters high and made of steel, was actually divided into two halves. What a terrifying power this is. Of course Victor understood. Only he, a mechanical ascender, can't fight against the huge Qing dynasty at all. When you find what you need. He took all the people from the lower city on a journey and left here. They come to the border. A new city is born. Victor named it the Mechanical Federation. It has gradually become a holy place for mechanical alchemy and human transformation. A second country also emerged. The corners of Xu Jie's mouth rose slightly. Only competition can make civilization develop better. When learned about the establishment of the Mechanical Federation, Emperor Shin stopped the army and went on a crusade. But Victor has transformed a large number of androids. The most famous of them are Cyborg 17 and Cyborg 18. They were originally twins, but in the battle with Shangcheng, he was seriously injured. The two became the second batch of mechanical ascenders. They have a hex core as a permanent energy furnace in their bodies, and they have unlimited energy in their bodies. The aging of their cells is very slow, and it is not easy to grow old. There is no need to eat, but they need to be hydrated. Not only that, when they fought in the Aolong world, they left behind a lot of martial arts exercises, and they were also practicing. Planet Zuin has no warrior energy, and most people are not suitable for practicing these exercises. But artificial humans have no such restrictions. No, 17, I didn't expect that you even learned the air dance. The android 18 was surprised. Number 18 is the sister of No. 17. But since number 17 is a male, she is stronger than her in every aspect. Number 18, believe in yourself, you can also use air dance. The android number 17 said coldly. Although they are siblings. But when Victor wiped away human emotions, even the dialogue was cold. On the 17th and 18th, the Xingguo army appeared on the border again. At this moment, Victor's voice appeared in their communicator. Clear. 17 and 18 flew towards the border together. Xu Jie looked towards the battlefield. He was somewhat relieved. His method really worked. These years, Victor stole half of the hex gems. Xingguo has been conducting scientific research. On the basis of the original black powder, a unique magic-guided musket was issued, and a brand new special job, mechanic, was born. The mechanic uses a musket as a weapon, and as a long-range offensive occupation that manipulates the floating turret and uses special bullets to enhance the firepower. Mechanic's floating turret can attack enemies, add negative stats to enemies to weaken them, and add positive stats to teammates to support teammates. General Joe, this time we have organized thousands of mechanics, and I believe that we will be able to eliminate the Machinery Federation. On the winding road, two men are having a conversation. Don't be careless. Mechanical Federation is not easy to mess with. They've also improved over the years. And they have quite a few hex gems. General Joe said coldly. Right now, two people appeared at the front of the line. Who are you? General Joe said sharply. Intuition gave him a bad feeling. Number 18 is in front of you and behind me. 17 Lang Lang Road. Good. With a swoosh on the 17th, he flew to the rear of the army in an instant. Two people, just want to beat us. Prepare for battle. But then, horrible things happened. The two displayed superhuman speed and strength. In an instant, more than 10 people were brought down. Volley. General Joe can't help hurting his teammates. Order the mechanic to use the musket. Boom, boom, boom. Gunshots continued, but even with bullets, they couldn't catch the two of them. After a quarter of an hour, only General Joe was left in the entire army. Just when I was about to start on the 17th, number 18 stopped and said, "You forgot what the doctor said, leave one to report back." In the sky, Shu Jie watched all this. The strength of the artificial man is even stronger than that of Victor. It seems that the Mechanical Federation can also perform its own tasks. Victor looked up. He quickly knelt down. He knew that this was the voice of the ancestors. Your Mechanical Federation is very good. It has defeated many radiated creatures and expanded the habitable area of Zon Planet. So, I'm going to give you a reward. Ancestor, are you planning to let us go to foreign planets? Victor made an emotionless mechanical sound. He knew something about the secret of alien planets. Over the years, I have been preparing for this. Yes, I need to see the strength of the Mechanical Federation. Of course, this is also an opportunity for you. Victor's face twitched slightly. He felt a little excited. How is this going? I have clearly eliminated human emotions. Victor didn't understand. He didn't think about it for the time being, and said, Mechanical Federation is ready. 7 days later, the north gate of the city-state, the planet passage will be opened. At the same time, Qing Dynasty, Emperor Xin received news. What? The mechanic army is completely destroyed. Xin Di was very surprised. Although the mechanic core is not as good as the hex core. But quantity wins. Also a strong unit. 2 people. You sure? When it was learned that there were only 2 people who eliminated the mechanic core. Xin Di was completely surprised. He aged a lot in an instant. The 3rd and 4th knights were killed in the Dynasty Rebellion. The 7th, 9th, and 10th knights rebelled and were killed. The 2nd and 6th knights died in the crackdown. Only the 5th knight, the 11th knight, and his 1st knight are still alive. All the high spirits of the past were gone. He understands that it may be difficult to eliminate the Mechanical Federation. Pass my order, stop advancing, and defend north of the Chang. Since then, the Mechanical Federation and the Qing Dynasty have entered the stage of the Cold War. Shu Jie saw the deaths of these knights. In his opinion, the Knights of the Round Table, becoming a legend is the best choice. Sometimes we should give young people more opportunities. He found that, before he knew it, his heart had also hardened a lot. A week later, Shu Jie opens the system panel. Last time, the lowest grade planet he opened consumed 30% of the world's origin. This time, he intends to open a low-grade planet. This needs to consume 50% of the world's source. At this point, 2 options appear. 1. Free choice. 2. Random delivery. Shu Jie frowned. He had heard that sometimes such an option would appear. If you choose to launch randomly, you are likely to get unimaginable rewards. But at the same time, the difficulty may also increase a lot. After thinking for a moment, he chose random delivery. A gate of light appeared near the north gate. Victor stood at the front, wearing heavy armor, carrying a turbo alchemy jar, and holding a hex scepter. The scepter pointed forward and shouted, "Unfamiliar world, bow down to my design. Metal is protection. Form determines function. Destroy, then improve. Soon everything will change. The dense army of robots made incomprehensible sounds and began to walk towards the door of light. Record, your people enter the world channel. Record, your people enter the dragon planet. Record, the will of the universe will give corresponding rewards according to the performance of your people. Dragon planet. Hear the name. Shu Jie had a bad feeling. Soon, he learned all about the planet. This is a beast planet. The intelligent creatures on the planet are dragons. But this kind of dragon is not the eastern dragon, but the western lizard dragon. But this is also normal. If it is Dongfanglong, the level of this world must be super high. As soon as Victor entered the planet, I saw a giant beast flying in the sky. Is this our opponent? What a horrible guy. Analysis started. Immediately afterwards, the Hex system began to calculate the information of the behemoth. Victor is a scientist. Except leading the army, he also brought the research team. He heard that other planets have extraordinary powers. If it can be researched, it can make artificial people more powerful. For example, the air dances on the 17th and 18th were the spoils of the last battle. He glanced at his army. Only the 17th and 18th were able to show their power in the air. Victor looked at the two of them and commanded without emotion. Number 17, number 18, I need information about that giant beast, you go and try its depth. Number 18 has now learned air dance and can fly in the sky. Soon, the two came to the front of the dragon. This is a green dragon. It is preparing to go to the red dragon's lair for mating. The sudden appearance of the two bugs undoubtedly made it angry. What? Dare to disturb my uncle's interest? The green dragon was rude, and slapped its tail directly. The 17th and 18th passed easily. The green dragon was slightly startled. Immediately take a serious look. This turned out to be human. Humans are the most despicable. I especially like the financial report of their dragon clan. On this planet, if humans are found, then all dragons are obliged to eradicate them. Roar. It let out a roar, trying to frighten the two humans, and notified its companions. But what it doesn't know is that the androids have been stripped of their emotions. They don't even know what fear is. Number 17, be careful, don't kill him. Number 18 lightly said. Humph. The 17th rushed straight up. Boom. The green dragon was hit hard. It feels that its internal organs are going to be out of place. Humans. It started to fight back. At the same time, Victor starts to calculate its value. 25 meters tall. Weighing 200 tons. Power 800 horsepower. Can fly. Special attack methods, not yet clear. The green dragon in the air is obviously not an opponent. But it's more remote here. It felt like it couldn't hold out the arrival of its companions. It wants to escape. Brizzy, hold on, Victor said to the robot next to him. The engine has been started, ready to go at any time. The rusted robot eyes suddenly lit up. It starts moving. From its chest, a huge mechanical claw flew out. Towards the sky. Immediately, the green dragon was caught. But the power of the green dragon is obviously much greater than that of Brizzy. Brizzy began to slowly lift off. But the cyborg of mechanical alchemy hurried up. Hold Brizzy down. Qigong wave. Cyborg 17 presses the energy towards the green dragon and fires it. Bang. The green dragon was hit hard. Fell to the ground. Victor came to the green dragon. He was hit hard and fell from the sky. At this point it was dying. Life with a lower structure is really pitiful. Victor said without emotion. Small human, what are you talking about? Although the green dragon can't move, the dignity of the dragon family makes it unable to endure this kind of skin. Abandon this stinky skin and join the glorious evolution. Victor took out a can of green gas. Zzz. Gas escapes. The green dragon quickly fell asleep. Victor wasn't busy invading the planet. Instead, start researching this green dragon. Sleep. Steel can repair all your flaws. Victor took out his tools. A renovation begins. Shu Jie looked at all this, a little curious. This Victor, what will he transform this green dragon into? After 3 hours, the renovation is complete. The new green dragon is completely different from the past. It has nice metal components on its body. A mysterious green fluid can be seen in the abdomen. How about it? I call it alchemy technology Yulong. She uses alchemy technology to enhance her body without pain and fatigue. She is an uncompromising war machine. At the same time, it can create miasma zones and provide camouflage for our troops. Victor said to Singe next to him. It's the perfect experiment. However, inspired by your work, please give me an experiment on the next prey. I plan to make a hextech dragon. Singe smiled grimly. Look at the expressions on the faces of the two men. Xu Jie really felt a chill for the dragon race of this planet. The army of the Mechanical Federation caught another giant dragon. Under the transformation of Singe, Hextech Yulong was born. It can cast lightning and can create small hex gates. This Hextech Yaren is also very good. Sure enough, only machinery and steel can give evolution. Victor looked at the transformed dragon. It's like looking at a piece of art. In the next days, on the dragon planet, giant dragons disappear from time to time. Soon, the Dragon King here also noticed something was wrong. During an arrest, dozens of giant dragons suddenly appeared. The Dragon King is a red dragon. It said solemnly, the mice hiding in the gutter finally found you. The pressure of dozens of giant dragons caused all the beasts in the forest to lie on the ground. In the Machinery Federation, many reformers also looked terrified. A true android needs a hex core. These transformations of people are only partial transformations of the body, so the fear of human nature still exists. Victor said lightly, my experimenters, it's your turn to appear. Thump, thump, hundreds of hextech Yulongs and alchemy Yulongs flew from the forest in an instant. The red dragon was immediately stunned. Gala, what's the matter with you? It saw a familiar dragon and asked quickly. But in exchange, it was just a dragon's breath. 30 dragons, how can they be 100 opponents? Besides, they are painless, tireless war machines. I surrender. The red dragon's wings were burned through, and the body was covered in blood. It quickly began to beg for mercy. Victor's system begins to analyze the pros and cons. I want all the treasures on your planet. He knew that dragons had a habit of collecting treasures. If the king of this world can be subdued, it will undoubtedly be much more convenient for collecting resources. Yes, but I don't want to become this kind of walking dead. The red dragon made one last condition. Can. Victor agreed without hesitation. Although the red dragon is the king of this world. But there are still some stubborn people who refuse to surrender. Among them, a black dragon is the most tenacious. Master, that black dragon is the most powerful being in the entire dragon clan. But it has a bad temper and likes to eat the same kind, so we have always rejected it. After seeing Victor's power, the red dragon became much docile. Even if it is not controlled by alchemy technology, it does not dare to have a trace of dissatisfaction. What is its strength? Victor asked emotionlessly. He needs to collect enough data to better analyze his opponents. It has a special ability called Word Spirit. Yanling, what does it do exactly? Victor asked. Different words have different effects. We don't know exactly. The red dragon shook his head. Can't you use Word Spirit? Victor was a little curious. Our blood is too low. The black dragon is not a creature of our planet, it escaped from an unknown space. In addition, due to its power, 80% of the treasures on this planet are in the hands of the black dragon. What the hell? Xu Jie was shocked. It turns out that this low-key black dragon is the big boss. Don't kill it. This planet is as if it has not been conquered. He hurriedly ordered Victor to kill the black dragon. The same goes for Victor. Take us to this black dragon. Victor said without emotion. Okabeth Crater. This is the black dragon's lair. It lay on the mountain of treasure and slept soundly. Right now, a growl woke it up. It opens its eyes. This is the roar of the red dragon. This kind of roar is a serious provocation in the dragon clan. That old guy is so brave. Hailong, who was disturbed by his sweet dreams, had killing intent in his heart. It flapped its huge wings to the periphery of the crater. Just flew out. A huge mechanical hand grabbed it. It was a little surprised, and hurriedly dodged. This black dragon really has 2 strokes. Although it is huge, its movements are not slow at all. Even escaped the grappling hook of Brizzy. Black dragon, surrender. You are surrounded. The red dragon brought hundreds of giant dragons and alchemy dragons, and surrounded the black dragons. Surrender. The black dragon laughed disdainfully. It is a noble bloodline from a high plane, and these guys actually want to surrender themselves. The blood flowing in his body is Nidhogg's blood. Roar. It uses the spirit of words, and the extremely magnified dragon might completely suppresses all the dragons. The red dragon, with its subordinates, landed directly on the ground and surrendered. Even those alchemy yulongs. The body also began to tremble. Victor was not afraid, rather surprised. This remark is truly incredible. Even if he removes the emotions of the dragon family, he can't change the fear in his bones. Victor is analyzing the words of the black dragon. After a while, he said in a low voice, "The word spirit of this black dragon does have unknown energy fluctuations, but it is only valid for the dragon family." No. 17. Number 18, kill it. Whoosh. The voice just fell. On the 17th and 18th, they performed the air dance technique and flew towards the black dragon. Humanity. It's really a narrow road for enemies. It turns out that you are behind the scenes. Seeing the two flying humans, Hailong was not afraid at all. Instead he showed an excited and cruel smile and flew towards them. Shu Jie thought carefully. This black dragon is definitely not from this plane. The previous dragons were very surprised to see number 17 and number 18 flying in the air. But it doesn't know at all. Numbers 17 and 18 are not humans, but androids. A fight. The black dragon was hit hard. Qi Yuan slash. The 18th is a disc-shaped, slashing gas-throwing bomb on the palm of the hand. The air bullet hit the black dragon. Left a deep scar. Sure enough, there were 2 strokes, and Qi Yuan Zan couldn't cut it off. 18 Lang Lang Road. Let me come. 17 rushed to the front. It's human beings, give me death. The black dragon was injured and was extremely angry. It opened its bloody mouth and took a bite towards No. 17. Zheng. A round shield suddenly appeared on No. 17's body. The black dragon couldn't bite through it at all. How can this be? Black dragon was a little stunned. He had never seen such a strong human being. If you know more than one language, how could these humans be their opponents? It seems that the only way to use it. Blood. The black dragon roared. The blood in its body began to turn over the river. This is a taboo technique that activates the dragon blood in a short time. But the side effect is also extremely terrifying, that is, it may break through the critical blood limit, and finally cannot maintain the form of a dragon. A swirling black flame appeared on the black dragon's body, and the overall aura also changed. Victor begins to analyze. He was surprised to find that the black dragon's combat power had increased by at least 5 times. Singidegger smiled. Let my baby play. With that said, his assistant pushed out a can of green liquid. This is an alchemical flame. Its properties are extremely unstable, flammable and volatile, and its effects are terrifying. The flames it produces are hot enough to break rocks, and leave a dense metallic venom infesting the surrounding earth, where almost nothing can grow back. Victor nodded slowly. He recognized it. This should be a biochemical bomb specially made for living things. Although it is of little use for transforming people, if it is an air-breathing creature, it will be a lure. Boom, boom, boom. Mechanical Federal Artillery fired a salvo of bio-bombs. Suddenly, a dark green fog enveloped the black dragon. It instantly felt short of breath. Call, call. It wants to blow away these poisonous gases with its wings. But there is no way. These gases may be in the form of aerogels. Although they are gases, they have the properties of gels. Number 17. Don't let it fly out. 18 Lang Lang Road. It's up to you to say it. 17 rushed up. There are 2 androids to suppress. It simply couldn't fly out of the gas. Roar. The roar of the black dragon became weaker and weaker. The red dragon shivered with fear. At this time, it felt that it really made the most correct choice. These human beings are so despicable and shameless. Shu Jie frowned. This black dragon has a special ability, and it may be useful to him. Record: you consume 6,000 points to create a tornado. Call, call, sudden. A violent tornado appeared in the field. It instantly blows away the poisonous gas. Then, wrapped in the black dragon, he went into the distance. Wait, stop chasing. Victor sensed the ancestor's breath in the wind, and immediately stopped his men from chasing. Their target now is the black dragon's treasure. Waterside. The black dragon woke up leisurely. She looked at her hand. It turned out to be as white as jade, just like humans. The side effects of the blood burst have turned him into a nasty human being. Right now, she saw a mass of human-shaped light standing in front of her. Are you the planet master who invaded this planet? She asked. At the same time, her hands are also accumulating strength. The planet master is very weak, not hiding behind the scenes, standing in front of himself. Isn't this looking for death? Looks like you understand a lot. But don't waste your time, look at your neck. Shu Jie laughed. On her neck is the ring of constraint redeemed by consuming points. The current strength of this black dragon is simply unable to resist him. Ah, the black dragon wanted to tear off the collar. But there is no way. The pain of the electric current made her almost faint. From now on, you are mine. Your name is Shavana. Record: your people killed 120 dragons, and you got 1 million points. Evil Dragon Planet. Shu Jie received a message after the last resisting dragon was killed. I want to compare the previous Goblin world. This time the ratings are not high. It may be that Dragon Planet is too weak. Except for the Black Dragon, the other dragons basically did not pose any threat. The following few days, Shu Jie is getting along with Shavana. After she tried many times, Shavana gradually came to accept who she was. By talking, Shu Jie learned. It turned out that she came from another dragon planet. There, almost every dragon has a terrifying word of speech. But a star war, their world was invaded. She also ended up on this planet. Then do you remember the coordinates of your hometown? Shu Jie asked. Cannot remember. I came to the dragon planet when I was still an egg. The memory of my hometown is told by my own blood. But about the coordinates, it seems that it can be erased. Shavana shook her head and said. Shu Jie nodded. At present, Victor has scavenged the treasures of this planet. Mainly some gold, crystal and unknown minerals. Of course, there are more than 100 dragon slaves, as well as more than 100 alchemy dragons and hextech dragons. The world channel is about to close. Shu Jie also sent Shavana back to Zon. Then began to wait for the planet to annihilate. 100% concentration of the power of the source. Look at the white light group in your hand. Shu Jie was somewhat satisfied. The last time Goblin Planet had only 30% of the original power, I didn't expect it to be 100% this time. This may be related to their random delivery. Eyes on the planet of Zon. Because Victor brought back hundreds of dragons at once. In an instant, the morale of the Mechanical Federation was greatly increased. And those treasures, let the richness of the Machinery Federation surpass that of Xinguo in an instant. Victor began to erode the land of Xinguo step by step. Shu Jie frowned. Although his original intention was to create two competitors. Let them develop against each other. But if one side is too powerful, that's a bad thing. He must maintain a delicate balance between the two countries. Shavana, I have a mission for you. Shavana, now integrated into human life, was drinking heavily in the tavern when she heard an oracle. She came to a secluded place and knelt down. As a dragon clan, you have 3 views different from those of the human clan. I've thought about it, you're the best fit for this. Shu Jie said lightly. What's up, master? Whatever you tell me. The ring of restraint can restrain not only the body, but also the spirit. Over time, the current Shavana has made Shu Jie her own god. Even if she wanted to die, she would not hesitate at all. Equilibrium exists among all things. I want you to start the equilibrium cult. Committed to maintaining the balance of power on this planet. Rule and chaos, light and darkness, all things must coexist in harmony. This is the truth of the universe. Shu Jie's ethereal voice echoed in her ears. Then a quaint book appeared in front of her. This is. Shavana put it in her hands. She still has some questions to ask. But Shu Jie has already left. His eyes were on Xinguo. Different from the development route of the Mechanical Federation. Now the rejuvenation of the country is prevalent in alchemy. A new cultivation system, Dan Shu, was even born. Although the planet of Zon has no aura. But you can use the flow of chi pulses in the earth as energy. Take special pills. Humans can also have special abilities. Even so, nor can it alleviate Shindi's death. He was lying on the hospital bed, and the various ethnic groups in Xinguo had begun to fight each other for hegemony. Cough, cough. Shindi coughed twice. The eunuch next to him hurried forward when he saw this. He took out 2 pills. I want the emperor to take it. Shindi waved his hand. He understands that his days are numbered. He finally understood the words of his ancestors. Life and death are common things, so why seek longevity? Ancestor, I was wrong. I was wrong. 2 lines of clear tears fell from the corners of his eyes. It was only then that he woke up. The mechanical city-state is entirely the work of the ancestors. He did not recognize his leadership of Shinguo, so he chose another person to obey the oracle. Pity. It's a little late for you to understand. Suddenly there was an ethereal voice in his ear. Ancestor. He was astonished like a thunderbolt. You now have 24 princes and 19 princesses. You have to choose an excellent successor, otherwise it is a question whether Shinguo can exist. Shu Jie said lightly. Afterwards, Emperor Shin summoned all the princes and princesses to him. What? Only those who find the Sage's Stone are eligible to inherit the throne. When hearing such news, everyone's faces were gloomy and uncertain. Only the 3rd princess Shi Chao looked calm. Although she usually gives the impression of a naive princess who is not familiar with the world, she is actually a wise man with a deep sense of the city. Like an actress, she changes her image depending on the object. She understands that the Sage's Stone is not the key at all. When other princes and princesses embarked on a journey to find the Philosopher's Stone, Shi Chao conducts research in her own laboratory. She was holding a copy of Emerald Records in her hand. The small universe of the human body, like the large universe, is composed of 3 elements of sulfur, mercury and salt, and the 3 elements correspond to the soul, spirit and body respectively. If the 3 elements are used reasonably, the human body can be made. She slowly read the quotations from the book. Lord Princess, the other princes are looking for the Sage's Stone. Should we act too? Wenger, the alchemist who was in charge of attacking her, asked. Wenger is also a goblin tinkerer. Unlike Warby's Luck, he was assigned to Shi Chao to become her teacher and assistant. Very beginning, he thought it was a beautiful job to teach a little girl. But slowly, he gradually saw another side of Princess Shi Chao. Willing to be her subordinate, Shi Chao put down the book. Don't you feel conflicted? If you have the Sage's Stone, your father will have an endless lifespan, so why should you give up the throne? So the Sage's Stone is not the key at all. What the father wants us to unravel is life. The ancestors once said that alchemists have 3 major pursuits: immortality, creation of life, and gold extraction. I think what the father wants us to do is to create life. In other words, whoever has a deeper understanding of alchemy is qualified to sit on the throne. Shi Chao expressed her understanding. Thin beads of sweat appeared on Wenger's forehead. This weekdays looks like a silly and sweet princess, and the city behind her is no less than anyone else. Shu Jie was slightly startled. He did not expect this princess to be so ambitious. Want to create life. Can this be successful? He began to watch silently. Shi Chao ordered his assistant to put human liquid, various herbs, and horse dung in the flask and seal it, and keep warm through the fermentation of horse dung. Then she began to draw strange magic circles. Princess, what are you doing? Wenger was a little puzzled. Form a formation. I call it the power of circles. The circle represents the cycle of power, and when the composition is written on it, the activation of power becomes possible. Knowing the flow and laws of power, you can deal with anything, accept and understand it before you create. This kind of refining can not only realize the transformation between substances, it can also make people complete the transformation between the 3 states of soul, spirit and body. Shi Chao frowned and explained, but her hands didn't stop, she was still drawing the formation. 40 days later, a miraculous scene appeared. A transparent human-shaped object appeared in the flask. She succeeded. Shu Jie was a little confused. This is not scientific at all. How did the little man in this flask come to be? After a quarter of an hour, he understands something. Maybe it's because he defines planetary civilization as alchemy civilization. So this planet began to form the laws of alchemy. Such a thing has not happened. He remembered that there was once a 5th-level civilization planet master who did not have any extraordinary energy in the initial stage. But, suddenly, one day, on his planet, a juggernaut appeared, and the sword broke through the void. Aura energy was born from his planet. Princess, you did it. You created life. Wenger was surprised. It's not in the right state. Maybe something else is needed, she said, scratching her white jade wrist. The blood dripped slowly. The condition of the villain in the bottle improved a lot in an instant. Shu Jie knew. A whole new kind of alchemy began to emerge. They draw a refining formation, send their thoughts into the refining formation, and they can start refining. But no elemental awareness. They still couldn't use the formation array to attack. Formation is more used in scientific research, such as the manufacture of synthetic beasts, or the human body. On the other hand, a new sect has begun to appear on Zon. Shyvana successfully recruits 2 people. Obey the oracle. She named the man among them the Twilight Eye, Ku said. Another woman, named Shadow Fist, Umem. The Eye of Twilight, with the keenness of the eye to see all things. Shadow Fist, attack with fist speed. With the spread of sectarian ideas, the Equilibrium sect grew slowly. One day, a small man came to the Equilibrium sect. He is of the Laraphytal family. This species is very small in appearance. Almost all look like children to other races. They originally lived on their own planet. But with the invasion of the Aelong clan, he became a slave. Now to Zon again. When he comes, Shyvana was a little surprised. Because according to God's prophecy, one day, a little man will arrive. And that person came when he left. Talk about your understanding of equilibrium. Shyvana was cynical. The so-called balance, one side is not called balance, and the 2 sides are not called balance. Only the 3-legged confrontation is the true meaning of balance. The little man replied, "You didn't see that there are 3 people in our sect." Shyvana smiled. "If I guess right, you're not human." The little man looked at Shyvana and said. Shyvana froze slightly. It was really what he said. The cult of equilibrium needs a true leader to be the centerpiece. To prevent the violence of the fist from overpowering the eyes. And put an end to the calmness of the eyes to hinder the fist. And I just can be the core of the sect. The little man said lightly. Sylvana immediately understood that the person in front of her was exactly what God said. She looked at Kusuo and Maimu. The 2 nodded together. The little man joins the Equilibrium sect and changes his name to Rageheart, Keenan. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.